What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today we are working on the Fox. We are gonna do the front forks. We're gonna focus on that, get that all nice and sorted out, see what we can use and cannot use, modify some parts, get the front tire off of there, clean the wheel, do whatever, check the brakes, everything, so that we know for certain we can use this. Of course, a lot of people are gonna say, hey, get new forks, get a upgrade, but it's not in the budget right now, so we're gonna have to work with this. So I'm gonna modify it, maybe do some welding, maybe not. We will see what time we'll bring in this video. So if you like these videos of the Fox, there will be a link in the description down below with the whole complete playlist from when we started with the Fox until the end. That is coming in the future, but every single video of the Fox will be in there. So if you want to follow along with it, go over there and check all the videos out, what progress that we made. And if you are interested in the whole channel, you can also subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. But now I'm gonna start on the forks, get everything disassembled, get as much parts of it that I can and see what I can reuse, modify and do whatever. So we can have a racer style look, but with the old parts. So it's a little bit of you can do it yourself and this is how you can do it. So let's get on with it and have a lot of fun working on the Fox again today. Okay, hold the time lapse 1 minute. I got to explain the forks. Now you saw me struggling with the forks. They were really stuck on there, at least one side of it. I tried heat, I tried oil, I tried hitting it with a hammer. Everything, the fork wasn't coming loose. But after a half an hour of pulling on it, putting heat on it, we finally got it loose. Now I was expecting a lot of rust, but I didn't expect finding this. Now this is how the inside of a fork should look. All nice and clean, greased up. This is the other side. It looks absolutely horrible. Look at this. No wonder my penetration oil didn't go through. It's like grime and whatever. So we're gonna have to clean this up to get the forks nice and moving again. Hopefully we can do it so we can use this fork for the test ride. If not, we're just gonna have to save up to get a new fork. So if you have this problem, just keep on going. It will come loose. If you move a little bit by little bit, it will come loose. And if you want the forks to work perfectly, you're gonna have to bite through it and get those forks off of there. Now we're gonna have to clean them up, and also on the inside of the tube we're gonna have to clean that up. Hopefully the spring isn't broken or there is not a lot of damage, but we will see. Now back to the time lapse and continue on working. Okay, a little status update on the forks. Unfortunately, I have some bad news. The fork is not usable at all. And the major problem is the spring. Now let me tell you what I think that happened. This is the middle part of the fork and this is a hollow tube. This means it goes all the way through it. There is no cap shielding it from the elements. So what can happen? Water and dirt can come into it. Maybe at some point the grip didn't have this end piece right here and every single water drop can go in here, go straight down to the fork and on the spring. What then happened, the spring started rusting. So the spring was in like this and as I can see, the top part looks pretty clean, but at the underside it is rusted through, it is so thin and there is a lot of dirt in the spring like mud or whatever, I don't know. So I guess inside of the underside of the fork there is a little bit of spring left inside of there, so I can't get that out. Now when I look inside with a flashlight there is a lot, but a lot of dirt in there. When I compare it with the other side that is lubed up and whatever, I can go very deep. When I stick a rod inside of here, I'm coming 2 centimeters short. So there is a lot of dirt inside of here and I guess there is a little bit of a spring left inside of here. So getting that out of there is impossible. There's no way I can grip on something. Even getting this nice lubricated spring out of there is really hard. I don't know how it connects, but it is very hard. Even if I could get that piece of spring out inside of this tube, we cannot find a replacement spring. At least from the store that we want to buy it, we cannot get that spring. We only can get a complete fork. I probably think because the spring is so hard to remove, people just buy the forks and they don't mind the spring. And that is a bit of a shame because it's easy accessible. You just remove the wheel and then you can screw off this bottom piece, put grease in it and whatever. So if that would have happened, then the fork didn't break. Now I got the middle part cleaned up. So this is where it used to be. Screws right on and still moves. When I put it on the rusty side, a little bit of grinding, but not too much. But I can screw it on here and it still works. So we still could use these two parts, the bottom part and the middle part, and maybe replace these ones. But because this was a temporary setup, or it would be a temporary setup, I'm not sure what we are gonna do. I mean, the middle fork looks a little bit janky, but it still works, so why wouldn't we use it? Getting a new fork, 160 euros, yeah, I don't know. So I'm gonna have to tell my friend that his fork is useless and the build is a little bit at a standstill right now. To get the spring attached, we need the bike to be complete with the forks and whatever, so we can get a good alignment on there. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be a generous friend and I'm gonna let the shade use my fork, my RCX fork. In practice, it should fit. We're gonna have to see when we get there, but it should work. I'm still gonna look at the front wheel because even if we get another fork, we're still gonna keep the front wheel because it's the same as the back wheel. You cannot change that. So yeah, the fork, big problem, but we have to continue with the build. It's just a minor setback, a little bit of a hold on the build, but we still need to do a lot of other stuff. So I'm just gonna keep on trucking and move on with this build. Shame from the fork, but yeah, that's bike building for you. So it's the very next day, and I didn't want to close off yesterday's video with a lot of uncertainties about what we're gonna do concerning the forks and whatever. So I went home and I called up the Shade, the owner of the bike, and I explained to him what has happened with his forks, what we can do, what we not can do, basically explaining to him that we cannot use the forks for his bike anymore. Well, he wasn't really that concerned with it because we are already planning on replacing the forks with better ones. He was already looking for them, but the price of 160 euros, it's not a small expense, so we're gonna have to figure that out. Maybe sell some additional parts, clean up the parts that we still have to sell them and make money like that so we can replace the forks. Because we want to continue the project and we want to move on, we need some forks. He just said, build the forks like they are right now, do the best job that you can do and not be concerned with how it performs or whatever. We just want to get some forks on there so we can do a small little test ride when the time comes, when we get the parts for the engine, and also that we can weld on the rear shock so we can have a rolling frame and we can continue on with the build. We don't want the forks to set us back and let the project take a longer time. So in the next video I'm just gonna reassemble the forks as best as I can, make them work so we can continue on with the build and we don't get set back. So as I said, the project will continue. We're just gonna temporarily use the old forks to get a mock-off of the bike, and later on when we get a new pair of forks we're gonna install them. So in next video, what can you expect? I think I'm gonna do the wheels. I'm gonna paint strip the wheels, maybe have a look at the CVT whole deal, what we can do in advance for when the crankshaft is here, clean up some parts, also reassemble the fork, of course, that's what we are talking about. And maybe at that point we will have the parts ordered so we can have a clear view on when we can start assembling the engine. So if you like this build, there is a playlist in the description down below with every single video of the Fox so you can re-enjoy every single moment in this build. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like and a comment down below. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter and on Instagram. And if you're not already subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it and I will see you in the next one.